has taken over. Let's go. It's Ferrall. Coast to coast. Steaks, chicks, stacks. You and I are going to make a lot of money. It's Ferrall, coast to coast. Make sure you get the SportsGrid app on iOS or Android in the Play Store. You're going to love it. It's free. It's amazing. You can watch the network on there, listen to the network on there. It's got the TV and radio side, in-game odds, everything, stories, videos, highlights. Follow your favorite hosts like Carver High. It's the SportsGrid app. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Hey, did you know we're streaming on X? Just go to SportsGrid-Live, and you can watch us streaming live on X every day, all day, 7 days per. You can get the Ferrall Coast to Coast full 3 hour and Ferrall on the Bench daily podcasts on Apple and iTunes. Just go get them every day, Monday through Friday. You're going to love it. And then the lineup tonight on the TV side at 6 o'clock Eastern after this show. It's Game Time Decisions with the mayor of Miami, Joe Ranieri, tonight. And then in-game live from 8 to 10 East with Opposite Picks, Scotty Wetzel, my boy, and Mark Zinno. And then Sports Rage at 10 to midnight Eastern with Gabe Morency and, of course, Cam Stewart. And then on SportsGrid Radio, it's 8 to 10, Carver and Lisi, all tonight on SportsGrid TV and SportsGrid Radio. We're into the second hour here on C2C on a Wednesday, Where Do You Hurt style, and we're still talking NBA rack, thank God.
Yeah, thank God indeed. The Suns beat the Clippers last night. They had to erase a 23-point deficit in the second half, but they get it done 119 to 117. Two guys led the charge for Phoenix. Kevin Durant, you'd expect to be one of the two guys that led the charge, but the other, Scotty, was Colin Gillespie with 10 points in the fourth, icing it on TNT.
No fouls to give here. Gillespie open for three. It's good! The Colin Gillespie game!
What is happening? I don't even know who that is.
Your boy Colin Gillespie played at Villanova. Remember Gillespie was on Villanova a few years ago, hitting big buckets
My buddy
down the
Joe
stretch.
Jackson played at Villanova, and he's better than Colin Gillespie.
Now, did you see, of course, I'm sure you did, the stuff with KD during the game with Budenholzer?
I did.
Budenholzer went to grab him, and KD kind of threw his arm up, get away from me, did all that
Don't
stuff.
touch me. Don't touch me,
Don't
bro.
touch me. Here's KD talking about that exchange with the coach.
Yeah, that's what usually happens when you don't know the dynamics of a relationship. You know, you catch something on TV, you get a quote, and now you pushing that narrative as if me and Bud don't do all the time. We competitive as two individuals who want to see things done the right way. And sometimes my way ain't the way that Bud want to do it, and vice versa. And he allows me as a player on the team, a veteran on the team, to voice my opinion. If we both didn't care, we would never have stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So and I'm glad that the win is going to sweep all of that stupid stuff under the rug.
Whatever. Listen, you can't deny they suck.
Yes, I can't deny that at all.
They are a disaster, that franchise. Even with him, and with Booker, and with Beal, and with Colin Gillespie, that hack, and that coach, nothing has worked in the Valley at all, bar none. There's nothing else to say.
Well, I guess the fans also have had enough of that because they were doing a lot of booing last night when they were down 23. KD decided to give his opinion on the fans' participation as well.
Here we go.
Yeah, I always wonder what booing is going to do for your team. Like, it actually makes no sense. If you really wanted to make your voice be heard, just get up and leave, and we'll feel that more than you booing. So we need energy. You know what I'm saying? When we down 20, we need y'all to get a little louder in there and cheer a little louder. And that was my thing once I started talking to the crowd. It's just like, yeah, booing has been a part of sports culture for the last 50, 60 years. But I think it's about time we put that up. You know what I'm saying? Just get up and leave if you don't feel like watching this team play. It's bad basketball. And we will understand. And that would make us feel even worse, you know, seeing y'all getting up and leaving. But the energy that they show, how loud they get on a good night, I mean, it's second to none. So I wanted to ignite that as much as possible. And I'm sitting there like, yo, what the suck. Like, get your ass up. Let's do something for us. You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah, just stop. Just stop. Second to none. Like, what guy doesn't say we have the greatest fans in the world? Whatever.
He made sure to circle back to that. He made sure to circle back to it after he ripped them. He came back around and said, "Oh, they're good though when they want to be. They're the best fans when they want to be."
No, he's full of shack.
Pacers beat
honestly,
the Rockets.
It's embarrassing.
115-102. Good win for the Pacers. Rockets haven't played well the last couple nights. How about this one? Raptors again.
Cover.
This time they actually won the game. Now here they are down 2. Final seconds. I give to you, Scotty, Jacoby Walter. Who? On TSN.
Here's Walter. Walter puts it up and in! Jacoby Walter, the rookie from Baylor, delivers the 3 with .5 to go. Jacoby.
Yeah, his mama named him after Kobe. Here we go. I don't even know who that is either. Honestly, let's just stop with all this nonsense.
Your boy told you right there. Baylor kid.
Whatever.
Rookie from Baylor.
I play with a kid that went to Baylor that's 7 foot. He'll dunk in your face.
The Bucks beat the Hawks 127-121. The Cavs were down like 15 to the Bulls, and they erased that in the second half and ended up winning by 22. So nice job by the Cavs. They've won 11 straight. That's their third 11-plus win streak of the season. The T-Wolves beat the Sixers 126-112. No problems there. Spurs beat the Nets 127-113. Now we've had a lot of contestants here lately in some of the dunks of the year. I still don't know if anyone's going to top that Shaedon Sharpe one from last week, but Stephon Castle last night of the Spurs, he tried to top it on FanDuel Sportsnet.
Castle by one defender by 2. Oh! Castle!
As soon as he split those 2 defenders out top.
It's never as good when there's no one to poster. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
He just got by 2 guys and did a flush tomahawk dunk by himself. It's always better when somebody comes in and throws a tomahawk down on someone's face. Always better.
That is always better. Always better when you get the in-the-face tomahawk. That's usually the way that everybody would like to go. Also, Jaren Jackson Jr. of the Grizzlies. They're having some problems, as you know. They've been very spotty lately. Week to week, grade 2 ankle sprain. Well, that's not going to help them get out of their funk. Not having Jaren Jackson Jr. out there. That's not going to help their problems.
And does that, so how long is he going to be out? Because I want to see the great barrier thief steal the Defensive Player of the Year. The guy's got the most steals since 2019, and there's still 20 games left. And to me, a guy that they're saying that Jackson gets it because of blocks, and he's going to get $365 million in a Supermax. That makes no sense to me when you got some guy that's actually breaking steal records in the NBA and doing it the hard way. Like, it's one thing to be 7 foot tall and block shots. It's really not that hard. I know a guy that's 7 foot, he blocks shots, 10 of them every time we play when you're that big. But when you're this guy Daniel size and you have that many steals, to me, that's real Defensive Player of the Year stuff.
Mobley's the favorite right now, minus 185. Daniels is now second at 4-1. So
it's
Mobley
another
and
guy
Daniels.
that's 7 foot that blocks shots. I want the guy that steals the rock all night.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And we are back for El Coast to Coast here on a Wednesday, a golf Wednesday on C2C as we get ready for the API, the Arnold Palmer Invitational at Bay Hill in Orlando. And, of course, the Prime Minister, Cam Stewart, is with us every week to give the selections. And we're even going to have we got a bonus jabroni tournament this week down in Puerto Rico. So we've got to make sure we get that in as well. Cam, good to see you as always. We moved to Bay Hill. I've already talked to Smiley today, who told me this is not going to be like PGA National last week. That the rough is already up to people's waists around the green. It's going to be extremely tough, as it always is here at Arnie's tournament. I'm looking forward to it. And Cam, we've got all the heavy hitters. First time this year, the top three players in the world, Scotty, Rory, and Xander Schauffele, all are going to be in the same place. I'm looking forward to it, Cam. Let's get it.
Me too. The golf books are like laughing, and this week it's not going to be funny. We're not going to have a Campbell at 300-1 or last week, but it was 150. Like, Carver, this is nuts what's happening in golf right now. The thing is, the big guys can't close the door on Sunday. All these guys who aren't supposed to win are winning. You said it. I'm watching Golf Channel. They're thinking like 7-8 under could win this week. It's going to be like -2 is a good score per round. So I can't wait. I love these tournaments when it's under 10. Like, when single digits wins. That's why I'm a fan of the U.S. Open. Let these guys pay a little price for hitting it in the rough. Let's go.
Of course, Scotty's the favorite. He's won 2 of the last 3 years here. Rory's at the top. Ludwig Oberg is here as well. Xander, I'd be careful this week. He hasn't played since the century. Very tough. Morikawa, JT, Matsuyama, etc. That's your top of the board. We got a lot to do, Cam. Let's get right into it, and we will start with my outrights. I am going to take the top guy that I'm taking is a little bit at the bottom of that chalk, and that is Justin Thomas, 25-1. I'm kind of going with a theme this week, Cam. I want to try play guys who play well at the tough courses, that play well at places where it takes single digits to win. JT at 25-1, I'm going to start there. I can't quit this guy. I know I can't stand him, but if you're going to keep putting Patrick Cantlay at 30-1 in front of my face, Cam, I'm going to keep playing it win or lose or draw. So I'm in for Cantlay once again at 30-1 this week. Irish Bear, 50-1. I got 50. I think you get 55 or did I get 55?
I got to find a different
You got
site.
38. I got a 50. Someone else I know has got a 55.
Wow.
But the Irish Bear, Florida, and a tough course. good enough for me to try with Shane Lowry. Wyndham the Butler Clark had a great finish here last year, 60-1 for him. Always plays well on tough tracks, and this is kind of like Cantlay to me. You know, I know Tagala hasn't had the best start to his year, but 100-1 for Sahith Tagala, and he plays well on tough tracks. I'll go with him for a triple-digit try this week.
I love it, Carver. We have a couple of the same things. I'm telling you, I got Cantlay at 25. I just found at 28, so I'm going to hit it again. Hideki Matsuyama is the perfect type of player. This guy, when he's in form, he can win. I wanted more. I'll take 28. Shane Lowry, I got to find a better number. The Irish Bear, perfect for this track, 38-1. Ben Griffin. Now, this is a hot golfer playing really, really well, Carver. Almost won last week, 75-1. Matthew Fitzpatrick is one major, U.S. Open, 90-1. And Ryan Ginger, I need a cold one after last week. More guys screwing me on Sunday. Give me a Ryan Ginger, please, with a shot of Jameson, 95-1.
I got a little Rye coming up on my card as well. We want to get a little Ryan Ginger my way, too. All right, placements for me. We're going to go Rory here, top 5 at plus 140. I think Rory's going to play very well this weekend, but I'm not playing the stupid under 10-1 price for him to win. Matsuyama top 10 at plus 190. Me and Smiley were saying he's never talked about in these big weeks, right?
You're right.
Never talk about it, and then you look up on Sunday, and there's Matsuyama in the top 5 with a chance to win the golf tournament. Dangerous Denny McCarthy played outstanding here a year ago. I don't think he can finish the job, to be quite honest with you, but I'll take him top 10 at a plus 410. And now some 20s. Bermuda Ben Griffin. You like him, so do I. Plus 150 for a T20. How about Harry English's record here at Bay Hill? Outstanding. Top 20 at plus 240. And this is probably more heart than head. But Max Homa's numbers have fallen to the point where I'm willing to start nibbling at top 20s at plus 270, especially for a guy who's got a ton of top 10 finishes at this course.
His stock has never been lower. That's the time to buy when it's low, Carver. Let's talk top 10. I know Keith likes him outright. I wanted a bigger number. Aubert, top 10 plus 120. I think that's a good number. I think he'll be there in the end. Justin Thomas, you have him outright. I have him top 10. I found a plus 210, but I'll take him at 190. Top 20s, Wyndham the Butler Clark. You're on him. Daniel Berger in great form, plus 130. Sepp Straka, where's the respect? The Rodney Dangerfield of Austria, plus 130. And the little lefty that could, Brian Harmon, plus 190. He hits it nowhere, but he's perfect in these type of tournaments. I think he's being disrespected at that price.
There you go. First round leaders for me next, Cam. Now, I have another thing I'm going with here. I'm taking a lot of guys who are going out very early in the morning. I think that the course is only going to get tougher as the day goes on. I did sprinkle in a couple bomb plays of guys who are going out late. But for the most part, my core of my first round leaders are early, including Taylor Pendrith, who we're going to get cooking here to start things off at 40-1. Bermuda Ben Griffin at 50-1. Cameron Forever Young at 55. There's Aaron Ryan Ginger at 55-1. Harry English at 80. Novocaine. We can't quit Novocaine. 80-1 for him. And I tell you, this Matthew Pavan's another one, Cam, who always seems to be lingering around when the courses are a little bit tougher. 100-1 for Pavan for first round leader.
He looks like a linebacker. Yeah, some croissant with ham and fromage. Here we go, Carver. Let's go. Aberg is 22. Horrible number. I don't care. He comes out hot. Wyndham Clark, this guy 45-1. Ashke Batea 50-1. He's a hot starter. JJ Spawn 55. Max Gracerman 66. And Harmon going to add Novocaine as well. Let's go.
And then finally, quickly, Puerto Rico, alternate event this week with the signature event going on. Taking some guys who've been playing some pretty good golf. Rico Hoey, 35-1. Mateo Manacero has been playing well. I'm hoping he does, 60. Carson Young at 60. Davis Riley at 150-1. He was 150-1 with better fields the last couple weeks, Cam, and you're still giving me 150-1?
Crazy.
I'll take a shot. And we're going to cook a little bit this week. Austin Cook, 600 bills to 1. We're going to take a shot.
I'm going to take Mr. Gerard. I want more, but playing well. Rico Hoey, he's our guy. Go Philippines. And Chris Gotterup. Let's go throw a couple down with Gotterup. Let's go. 60-1, Carver. Let's rock.
I like the Danes this week. Gotterup and get him down.
Get him down.
Down in Puerto Rico. Cam, let's get it. The API. The players next week. Let's
can't wait.
go. Our first huge one of the year. We're back off Wednesday.
anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We know the Knicks are talented. They're 37-20. It's not a bad season by any stretch. They're just not beating the upper echelon team.
This is the Knicks team right now. They're a very good team. And I'm a Knicks fan. You can't look at there and say, this team can win a championship. They're not good enough. They're not good enough defensively. Are we the New York Knicks or are we the New York Fugazis? Just forget about it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, well, what sports books could go there? I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.
All right, so the Prime Minister stopped by to give his skinny for the golf tournaments at Arnie and Puerto Rico. It's all evolving. Now we're going to look at those NBA title favorites as we keep rolling here.
Yeah, this is the favorites to win the championship, of course, and not the odds so much, but the percentages. The percentage chance for each of these teams to win. OKC and the the Celtics both up in the 28% range to win the NBA title. Cleveland 13, Lakers 8, Nuggets 7, Warriors 6, Knicks 4, Grizzlies 2. Everyone else less than that. The favorites to win the NBA title.
Yeah, I think some of that. I think the bottom half of that is somewhat crazy down there. I think Memphis is falling off the table for me. That everyone's afraid of them. I'd be, more inclined to get interested in Minnesota the way that they can, do what they did last year. They're doing it again. They can win big games. Cleveland's not getting any respect there at 13 after they were down 25 in Boston and came back and beat them at the Garden. LA's getting no respect at all, yet they got the best record in the league over the last 2 months. And then Denver's getting no respect at all, and they got that core 4. Those odds right there, those percentages right there are just stupid.
All that matters is what happens on the court. Charts and graphs can only get you so far. When it comes.
You got that right.
Can't have all charts and graphs. All right, let's get to tonight in the NBA. Bunch of games here on a Wednesday. A couple of good ones, too. Portland is in Boston against the Celtics this evening. Celtics minus 9.5, 224.5 the total.
Yeah, I still think Boston handles their business here tonight at the Garden against the Blazers. I have a feeling they can win that game by 10. They're tough to beat there. We've seen Cleveland do it, and really no one else. Like, who wins there? Who wins at the Boston Garden? Are they going to win by 10? That's the question. So I do think they're 10 points better than the Blazers. I don't deny the Blazers have been tough, and they'll have a shot, but I still think the Celtics handle it and get it done.
The Timberwolves are in Charlotte against the Hornets tonight. T-Wolves minus 7.5 on the road. Remember, they played at home last night. 225.5 the total.
Yeah, I don't care when they played. They're still better than this Hornets team. You know, we saw the Hornets. I took a stab with them the other night. It didn't matter that LaMelo played. It didn't matter that Bridges played. They still got their ass beat. The T-Wolves are flat out better. I have to bet on Minnesota here. And if I lose, I'm fine with it. But I like Minnesota.
The Heat are in Cleveland against the Cavaliers. Cavs minus 12.5 tonight. 221.5 the total.
I mean, that's a lot of sticks, but they are so unbelievable, this team, the way they play at the Rocket in the Land. And I just think the Heat have had so many blown leads where they've, been up in games and then they just melt down. They only win games now, for my money, where they're at the Kaseya against somebody that stinks. Like the other night, they covered for me. They put up $1.06. $1.06. Cleveland's going to put up $1.40. I mean, I'm on the Cavs again here. I'm not afraid of the number.
That's the early game of the TV doubleheader as well, is Cavs and Heat in Cleveland. The Jazz are in Washington. This is what we like to call a friends and family only game at this one. The Jazz are 15-46. The Wizards are 11-49. Friends and family only will be attending. Wizards minus 4.5, 230.5 the total.
I got to go Wizards based on why are they favored? They're not even this Jazz team is a little bit better than them, but the game's in the Capital One. I think the Wizards get it done at home. Poole, Middleton, Smart. I think they can win this game and cover to 5.
Next up for you, the Mavericks' first game without Kyrie. Of course, their season has taken a real bad turn. They're in Milwaukee tonight against the Bucks. Probably going to get worse. They're catching 10.5, 225.5 the total.
I got it at 10. I like the Bucks at 5 serve. The Mavericks are, glad bag city. It's all over now. I mean, they got nothing left. They're shutting down AD. That's inevitable. Kyrie's done. All their bigs are out. They literally are a mash unit. And the Bucks are at home with Giannis and Dame Time and Kuzma and company. Give me the Bucks.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
We know the Knicks are talented. They're 37-20. It's not a bad season by any stretch. They're just not being the upper echelon team.
This is the Knicks team right now. They're a very good team. And I'm a Knicks fan. You can't look at there and say, this team can win a championship. They're not good enough. They're not good enough defensively. Are we the New York Knicks or are we the New York Fugazis? Just forget about it.
The Early Line. Only on SportsGrid.
Possible that while every other state is trying to copy New York and get that 51% tax on sports betting, is it possible that New York will actually lower their taxes? That's surprising.
The question is, of course, what sports books could go there. I mean, we're already at 9 that are the biggest ones out there in the market. So, I mean, who are you really missing?
Newswire. only on SportsGrid.
I'm smelling a potential upset here, a little Rogie Vachon with one of these remaining NBA games, and it's the game at the Ball Arena in Denver.
Yes, the Kings will be in town tonight against the Nuggets. Nuggets minus 5.5 here. 234.5 is the total.
Yeah, I saw it, as this. They've won 4 in a row. I know they don't have Sabonis. It doesn't matter. Monday night they won without him, right? They got it done. And then Denver, all of a sudden, has been losing. They've lost 3 of 5. They lost on Sunday at Boston. Aaron Gordon hurt his ankle. He's questionable. Sounds like he won't go. Strother, a left knee. He's going to be out 4 weeks. They're going to have Brody playing, which is bricks. They got a bunch of no-name hacks in their starting lineup tonight in Denver. I'm going to take the points and the Kings for a shot on the road with Sacramento.
I will give you one other injury update for Sacramento, though. Obviously, we know Sabonis is out. He'll be out for a while. No Malik Monk tonight. He's out with a toe problem. So they do lose one of their shooters.
DeRozan and Zach LaVine. There's no one else is even on that team anymore.
And I'll tell you who's been a little hot lately because I've played him the last couple times with the threes. Keegan Murray's been hot from downtown.
He's been hot.
Last few games
You're
too.
right. Great call by you.
Watch for Keegan Murray with some threes. He's been playing very well. Next for you, the second game of the TV doubleheader. OKC is in Memphis against the Grizz tonight. Thunder minus 7.5. 252.5. The total, which I think will pass. Remember that Grizzly Hawk game the other night? 251.5 was the highest total this year. If this closes at 252, this would be the highest total in the NBA this year.
So that means the game's going to be insane. And that means yes. I'll take that 8 points, even though the Grizzlies have been struggling. I'll take the 8. And when I see that total that crazy, that means it's going to be crazy. Every time we see that number over that 250 mark, the games are wild. Atlanta and Memphis, right? With the last-second LeVert layup, with the steal by Great Barrier Reef. Smells like team spirit to me. Wild game. Give me a wild cover with a team that's struggling. I know it's risky, but sometimes you got to play that way.
Harry Kane from the spot to score his second goal here. 3-0 Bayern. How about that from the penalty kick? How about we got a little Harry Kane for 2 goals? Let's go. We finally got something happening. And the last game of the night, the Pistons, who, of course, are out on the West Coast trip, they stop at the Intuit in Los Angeles tonight, where they'll see the Clippers. Pistons minus 4.5 on the road tonight. 219.5 is the total. Now, you're probably wondering what's the reason for that. Kawhi played last night, so he's not going to play tonight. No Kawhi, no Norman Powell, and several others. So the Clippers are going to have a little bit of a skeleton crew tonight for this game.
Wow, and the Pistons have won 5 straight on the road. I guess they're the lean. You got to lean Detroit here with what you just said to me, that no one's playing. Who's playing, Harden and Zubac?
Yeah, Harden and Zubac will play. But, no Kawhi because he played last night. And Powell's been out. He came back, got hurt again. Now he's missed the last couple nights. And they played last night and Detroit didn't. So you mix all those things in. I don't know. I'm taking Harden tonight with the 4.5 and the Clippers. I'm going to take Harden tonight and roll with him
I don't
in
have
that game.
I don't have a problem with that. Like Zubac the other night had 35. He's a monster. So
he's a monster.
Can anybody step up? Detroit 5 straight on the road. It doesn't matter who they play.
That's your night in the NBA. I'll give you a little preview for tomorrow. Knicks Lakers in LA Thursday night. What a big game, and now we'll see what happens. Obviously, with Cat might not be there, but still Knicks Lakers. And you said it earlier. The Knicks don't beat good teams, So that would put them behind the 8 ball already because the Lakers are nobody better than them the last 20 games. They've been the best team in the NBA the last 20 games. So tough spot for the Knicks tomorrow night. So there you go with that. How about some college rack? I have tons of college that we need to get to before a huge slate of games tonight. Texas A&M needed to get off the deck badly, Scotty, and they did do that last night. They came out hot, and they were able to stay with it. 83-72, they beat number 1 Auburn. Now, I don't think Auburn, who cares? You know, it doesn't matter. Tournament's what matters for Auburn. But that's a nice confidence booster for the Aggies, and the first time they've ever beaten the number 1 team in the country. So good win for them.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to the tournament either way, but you beat the number 1 team in the country. That's a massive quad 1 win at home in College Station. And they had not been playing well of recent note. So that was huge for them, no doubt about it. And I thought Auburn would win in there last night. That didn't go well for me. Tons of others did go well, though.
Yes. And by the way, flag now minus 400 because Broome had a tough night last night, only had 8 points, so he's the favorite. I watched the last 5 minutes and both overtimes of the BYU-Iowa State game last night because I was on BYU like you. And you always get, even though it was 9.5, you get nervous when the game goes to overtime. You never want overtime in any of these spots. But BYU played great. Nice job by them. They get the outright win, 88-85. Good one for them. Purdue smashed Rutgers 100-71. Kentucky needed a big bounce back, and they got it. 31-point win at home over LSU. Arizona beat Arizona State. Didn't cover though. 113-100. Good cover for the Sun Devils. We both thought that was way too much wood in a rivalry game last night. Texas, huge win for them. Overtime over Mississippi State in Stark Vegas. Huge win for the Longhorns. And Georgia beating South Carolina. Remember, they were a short dog there against them, and they get the job done. Now, some of these bubble teams from last night. UNC beat Virginia Tech 91-59. I think they've won 6 in a row now, right? As they get ready to play Duke this weekend, getting themselves back in the mix. Georgetown did beat Nova 75-73. Let's talk about Oregon. They did beat Indiana 73-64. What a cover that was, because that game was tight pretty much the whole way, and then Oregon was able to sneak out the cover in the final moments. But I thought, Scotty, Indiana played well.
Yeah, I think they'll get a nice grade from the committee for their performance. They were up 61-60 late in the game in Eugene. They gave them all they could handle. It seems for bettors that it was an easy ticket cash for the Ducks, but it was anything but. I sweated it out. I was, obviously I had the Ducks on a ticket, but I was rooting for Indiana, and I told you they'd lose in Eugene, and they did. And now, after Ohio State won in double overtime over Nebraska, they didn't cover. But that Ohio State team is a pain in the ass, and they've always been a pain in Indiana's ass in Bloomington. I have watched Ohio State go to Bloomington over the last 40-some years and give them fits. You can look it up. They have won there. They have performed well there in the past. Indiana's entire season comes down to the game against Ohio State. And I think a bid to the NCAA tournament is at stake in that game at Assembly Hall this weekend.
And one more thing, and I might have to wait on. Yeah, I can't just play this and go to break. Mike Woodson, we needed to get his thoughts after the Indiana loss. Because let's just say, Mike, you talk about the committee giving Indiana maybe a good grade for how they played in Eugene. Mike's not going to give a good grade to the refs last night. So when we come back, we'll hear Mike do that. I will tell you also there was another 2 overtime game. Ohio State beat Nebraska, and a huge win for Arkansas on the road at Vandy that they needed badly. But we'll play Mike when we return.
I got burned on that Arkansas game as well last night, but there were so many that were beautiful. The Eastern Michigan cover at Ohio, the Ball State cover by a hook at home in Muncie. I mean, it was all night. Bowling Green cover, the Miami of Ohio cover. What didn't we cover?
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flagg wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
He doesn't feel like he gets enough recognition for his achievements.
I'm on a really good team, and I'm like, I don't matter, but I'll have nights I'll have 21, 19, 18, because I don't matter. I would rather be on a team, a good team that wins, than care about myself. I mean, honestly, like, wouldn't you rather just play with dudes that are great and win?
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, so let's listen to Woody.
Yes, not happy with the refs after the loss in Eugene.
We had our chances, but listen, guys, in a physical game like this, it can't be 21-7. You gotta be kidding me. 21-7 on free throws. It's bull. It just can't be not in a physical game. They're a physical team, and it can't be that lopsided. It's impossible.
What was the ref's message to you?
Well, again, it's what it is. I can't go back and get it. Right. But in a physical game like that, where both teams are battling their asses off, you can't punish one team and put one team at the line for 21 times and the other team only get there 7 times. That's awful.
He's right. I mean, that's just flat out simple. It was, they got every call in Eugene. That was it. It was 61-60, but they got every call. They got every call down the last couple minutes. And that's why they covered, because they got all those free throws. I mean, honestly, that was it. And I cashed, but I wasn't happy. And I think, obviously, anyone that watched that game knows that Indiana was in that game, down to the bones. Simple as that. And the committee will know, too. They all said, going into last week, all we heard about was Indiana has to play well against Oregon in Eugene. They weren't expected to win. That's a really good team, and they had to play well against them. Now they have to beat Ohio State, I think.
It would definitely help, that's for sure. There's no question about that. All right, we have some more small conference tournaments that are going to be starting this evening. I just wanted to give you a little who the favorites are to win them. The Ohio Valley gets going tonight. Southeast Missouri is the favorite for that right now, plus $160. SIU Edwardsville, the second choice. Little Rock there within shouting distance. Tennessee State. Looks like by that you got 4 teams that have a legit shot to win the Ohio Valley. Everyone else pretty deep long shot.
Yeah, I mean, just I have to, as the games go, I think there'll be some disparity in those matchups because Southeast Missouri State is good, so's SIU, but I want to see who's playing who before I start crowning an Ohio Valley champ off of sportsbook odds. I mean, seriously.
As far as the Summit goes, which gets going tonight as well, you have the Bison and the Jackrabbits at the top. We love the Bison and the Jackrabbits. St. Thomas up there, too. And the Nebraska-Omaha team, which has been very good so far.
Listen, there's all kinds of good teams in this mix. Kansas City's not that bad either. And neither's Omaha. St. Thomas is a good team. And obviously, both North Dakota State and South Dakota State are tough as well. It depends, where they're playing these games. These aren't home games anymore. Most of these conferences have moved to some location that makes it fair. It's neutral court. So some of these small conferences, they play at the home team. It's not fair. They should play all these conference tournament games somewhere else. Like they got the one down in Pensacola, Florida. I like when they move them and play somewhere that it's neutral and fair and there's no advantage. I don't like any more than I like Duke playing in Greensboro every year. I mean, it's automatic they're going to the second week.
They play this Summit in South Dakota. All the games are in South Dakota is where they're playing the Summit. So all the games are there.
But is it at the South Dakota's arena?
I believe it's their gym, yes, where they're playing all the games at. So I guess they're hosting it this year, whatever the situation is. However, the Summit runs
they're not winning it. They're 25-1. They're not winning it, but it'll give them some kind of moxie to be playing on their home court.
And the last one I've got for you, which is one I always love. I love the local ones here in the Northeast area.
The Northeast.
And that is the NEC. And Central Connecticut State's had a massive year, and they're a massive favorite to win this. The Blackbirds, Long Island there, St. Francis, PA. FDU has had a lot of upsets in recent memory in this tournament. Wagner was a big upset winner last year in this tournament.
Listen, just so we're clear, and I go to some of these games, there's only one team that's winning it. It's Central, because the rest of them are hairdryer city. I mean, I go to these games, and they are pathetic. Honestly, that Lemoyne and Chicago State are so awful. They are so awful. Fairleigh Dickinson sucks, too. I just went there to watch the Jamboree, the semifinals of the Jamboree in Jersey. Great teams playing there, Ridgewood and St. Joe's, Bosco and Bergen Catholic. Those are great programs. The high school teams are better than the college team. I actually think Bergen Catholic could beat Fairleigh Dickinson in a basketball game. And I'm not kidding.
And there you go. Don't forget about Stonehenge there. Stonehill. Also
Stonehenge is going nowhere. There's games tonight. I had my boy Felix over at the crib today. I told him, I'm betting on some of these NEC games tonight. Chalk City.
I've got all the NEC numbers. The NEC got their own board tonight, so we're going to get to that in a moment here. We will come back and get into all the games for tonight. I've got a ton of racks of games that we'll do. Liverpool with the late stoppage time goal to go up 1-0 on PSG on the road. What a strike there. It was not Mo Salah, unfortunately, and Barcelona scored to go up 1-0 on Benfica. Some late Champion League drama that we have across the pond for us, Scotty. We always love some late thunder in the Champions League.
I think you need to have another kid and name him Benfica.
Benfica getting involved there. So we will do all of that when we return. This evening's games, including Maryland and Michigan, starts at 6:30 East. Good game in the Big Ten tonight. So lots
dinner time game. I love it.
Dinner time game for us.
Let
Last
me
game
tell
of the
you
year
something.
for
Honestly,
Olivia tonight.
I can't wait till you. Oh, she got a big game tonight?
Last game of the season tonight. Yeah, last game of the season.
You know what I say? You get that ball in your hand, start chucking.
Scored all the points last week. She was filling it up last week. So.
Just put it up.
Yeah.
Shoot or shoot.
two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Remember when everyone was upset about NIL? You know what NIL did? Make sure Cooper Flag wasn't playing with the G League Ignite. That's good for us. That's good for college basketball. When the best players are actually playing college basketball.
You're going to get battle tested. And it doesn't matter, Kevin, if you're at home or on the road. If you don't come ready to play in the SEC, you're going home with an L.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
He doesn't feel like he gets enough recognition for his achievements.
I'm on a really good team, and I'm like, I don't matter, but I'll have nights I'll have 21, 19, 18, because I don't matter. I would rather be on a team, a good team that wins, than care about myself. I mean, honestly, like, wouldn't you rather just play with dudes that are great and win?
Ferrall coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, let's look at the games tonight.
Yep, let's roll. We'll start with that early one. Like I said, 6:30 East tip for Maryland and Michigan in Ann Arbor right now. Michigan, very slight favorite at home. Also, DePaul is at Providence at the Dunk. We've got Florida and Bama, big one tonight. A couple of good teams. Bama -3.5. Clemson visiting BC at Chestnut Hill, and Oklahoma State at UCF tonight.
Yeah, look, I'm going to go Michigan. I don't think they lay 2 eggs in a row at Chrysler. I'll take them at home, laying 2.5. Providence, I like Bama and Tuscaloosa laying. I got 2.5. I got it at. I see 3.5 there. I got it at a better price. I like Clemson and Chestnut Hill. They're flat out better, tougher, all across the floor, both ends of the floor. And Oklahoma State and Central Florida, I wouldn't go near it with a 10-foot pole. If I had to, I'd go UCF.
Next up, K-State visiting Cincinnati tonight in the Big 12. We've got Pitt at NC State, a little road favorite for Pitt this evening. Xavier at Butler in the Big East. Colorado getting a fat number in Lubbock at Texas Tech. And Missouri on the road at Oklahoma, really -4.5. Oklahoma could really use that win at home against Mizzou.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get it. I still like Missouri there. I think Texas Tech will beat Colorado by 25 tonight. I like Xavier at Butler at the Hinkle. I'm a little nervous of Mata. I think he can coach, so I think Butler will show up for that game. Xavier's a lot better at the Cintas in the Queen City. I like Pitt at Raleigh. North Carolina State is awful, and I like Cincinnati at home over K-State. K-State only plays well, in my opinion, in Little Manhattan.
The Little Apple, which they are not at tonight, as they're on their way to Cincy. Wisconsin at Minnesota this evening, rivalry game. Wisconsin favorites on the road. UConn has Marquette tonight. That game is at Gamble, not at Hartford, at Gamble in Stores. You have Tennessee road favorite at Ole Miss. Cal makes the trip to Louisville, and late night Big Ten game with USC favored over Washington.
Yeah, look, I think Wisconsin wins that game, but I'm nervous with the 6.5 sticks at Williams Arena with Garcia and company. I think because it's a rivalry, I think that they'll cover. I think the Gophers will cover. UConn don't lose in that building in Stores. They're going to upset Marquette tonight, even though they're favored by 3.5. That's because they're playing in Stores. Marquette's a better team than UConn this year. That's all there is to it. Tennessee's going to win in Oxford. Too much defense and really too much Tennessee. Louisville at home at the Yum, pounding Cal tonight. USC at the Galen, done deal. Washington is ass mustard. They're awful. And USC is not much better, but they'll still kick Washington's ass because everyone does.
Let's get into some of these conference tournament games now, some of these small conferences. So the Sun Belt, we told you yesterday how they operate. You win, you play the next day. Well, Southern Miss and Louisiana, they get to do that. Southern Miss will play Georgia Southern tonight in Pensacola. Louisville will take on Old Dominion. I told you
Louisiana.
The Valley starts tonight. Yes, there you go. With them, Louisiana against Old Dominion. And in the Valley, UT Martin and Tennessee Tech. Lindenwood against Morehead State this evening also.
Yeah, look, I like, well, obviously, I'm going to go Georgia Southern at home over Southern Miss. I like that game. And then I like Old D over Louisiana. I think they're better. I think Martin's going to win that game. I'm kind of on Lindenwood, believe it or not, over Morehead State. I know Morehead has had the history and more success in the conference. I actually think, look, I mean, they got the same record. I think it's going to be a good game. That's why it's so tight. I'm going to take a stab with Lindenwood.
Lindenwood tonight. They're playing those games, Scotty, that OVC conference. All of them are going to be at the Ford Center in Evansville, Indiana. Is where they're playing all the OVC games.
So there's no advantage for anybody.
No. All right. NEC games and stragglers when we come back. I'll give you those. NEC games and stragglers before.
And I love these. Basketball. I love these next ones. I really do. I'm because there's honestly there's some juicy ones to make money on right here coming up.
The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have every at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? circumstances provide the results.
What?
How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.